What's up YouTube, Sam here. So today I'm going to talk about the history of football briefly. So based on the same roots as soccer and rugby, which were all also known as football, soccer football was just known as association football, then they called them soccers, and then it just became known as soccer in the US because we already had football. And then rugby was called rugby football, and then just shortened to football. So these were all just kind of a general game called football before they were all formalized back in the 1700s. And so football was played across England and the US, which were the colonies of Great Britain at that point. And so they were all just called football, and over the next couple centuries, they just slowly evolved into what the forms of the sports that we know as today, where in football just became soccer or Futbol, which is known as in most of the world, and then someone had the idea to pick up the ball and carry it and throw it forward, and that became known as American football in the US, and then rugby in Great Britain. And the idea of the stop-and-go plays were all the brainchild of a man named Walter Camp, who is called the father of American football. In the late 1860s, he helped develop this new sport by developing downs, a scoring system where it's 6 points for a touchdown, center snap where they line up and then he calls hike and snap the ball, and also the safety. So an early advocate was actually Teddy Roosevelt. I've talked before about muscular Christianity, the idea that a good Christian man should also be athletic and kind of a tough guy. And so Teddy Roosevelt was an advocate of this sport because of how physical it was. But actually in the early 1900s, it was so physical that you had 18 players die in 1905 in the college sport alone. And it was about 20 players a year around there. So the President Roosevelt at the time emphasized safety and made this association for football start playing with pads and make more rules to try and make the game safer. Paul Robinson was one of the first African American players in football, and football was actually one of the earliest sports to even integrate because it was so little known until the 1960s, where after World War II it exploded with television and became one of the most popular sports in the United States as it is today. But even so, the Washington Redskins was the last college team to desegregate following World War II in the 1960s, 50s, and 60s. Thank you. That is all I have for you today, and you all have a nice day, and I hope you appreciate this video about the brief history of football.